You now join us back at Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Justice for All for the Nintendo DS, where your host SamuraiT-X and his partner Solid Snake are currently in a predicament where they have to make a choice and how Mr. Dingling, aka Acro, committed the crime. So, Snake, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna leave it to you.
So, Samurai, since we're gonna say that Acro committed the crime, we're gonna have to present some evidence.
Yeah, I think we do, because if we say we can't present evidence now, we're just gonna get a penalty and then we're just gonna lose steam, so let's present evidence to keep the momentum going. I'm going to present some evidence. So, what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of the murder against Russell Berry?
So, Samurai, you remember Max said that his bust is missing?
Good point! That is actually a very good point. Plus that thing has a hatch as well. So that's why it probably, since people say it flew away and whatnot, because that bust actually has a hatch, you know. And plus, anyone could like literally throw a bust out the window and whatnot. But the question is, how did the bust? If the bust was the murder weapon and whatnot, people, how did the bust? Why was the bust not at the crime scene? You got to think that, right? For now, we're going to present the bust, yes, because it's got the hat on the head, and everyone says that they saw Max with the hat on his head and whatnot. We're going to do that, but you got to think for the moment right now. How is the where's the bust? Why wasn't it at the crime scene? But for now, we're going to present this. Take that! What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is what is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and it's because it's a life-sized, it can also be very... Wait. It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-sized, it is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ah! Oh, you got a reaction out of him. See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Smack, smack, smack. Order! Order! So, you're saying the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Acro is an acrobat. Table smash. He should have more than upper body strength to carry something like a bust. Smack. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Table smash. Well, 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 Acro. You can't run away from this. Ow! I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. With what? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get a proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? For karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There is absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Yikes. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. It's probably going to be the last part I do today, because it's night time, so yeah, I'm going to probably do a bit more time, so like probably 15 more minutes, and then call it a video, because yeah, it's getting a bit late for me, so I'm going to need my sleep soon, so yeah. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony.
The witness will have no problems. However, The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Ugh, that woman will sink to any low to win a case.
Another testimony. Physical states.
I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a stronger upper body from working as an acrobat. Only my legs were injured. However, lifting a bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There is no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
I have no doubts in the witness regarding to this testimony.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and carry it over to the window. Not to mention that he could have not known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright?
I still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus.
Right. Not gonna really press it much. Not there either. Okay. Alright. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to present the wooden box on this statement here. And I'm going to do that because I think that's how he would know that the bust would drop on him, because probably the box was there, so if it dropped on him he would have heard the sound that it successfully happened. So that's just my theory, no less. I'm gonna go with it and present it there. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but it's this statement that bothers me the most. The previous one does too, but I'm gonna present on this one because I think that the wooden box is key to what made him realistically hear that the bust had been successfully dropped on the ringmaster. So we're gonna present right here. Objection! Oh, we were right. Jeez, I was gonna present on either this statement or the previous statement. So yeah, I think I have my mind on the money. I've made a theory that that box could have made him hear the impact of the ringmaster and the bust and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going with that. So hopefully my theory is backed up by Phoenix. I've not played this game in over a decade, so please bear with me. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out the window, did you?
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster was heading, where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add.
Objection! Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence?
But I did a good job
But I did such a good job hinting.
Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here?
Who?
When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Oh, that's a good point. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the crime scene. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Table smash. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean? If the bust was to fall upon the If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. Really? Order! 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 This is unbelievable. Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward. Smack. So the next question I have is who placed that wooden box at the crime scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then he had it lowered. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ow! 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 The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. Well, when Gumshoe said he only found something in the box, I think it was pepper. So I don't think it's what's the contents of the box and the size of the box. I wouldn't say the size of the box either. I was thinking the weight. So was I, to be honest with you. Table smash. The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and then lift up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box was also carrying handles on the upsides, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Table smash. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Wow, that's a good theory. And I'm glad I was right on that statement too. Does she even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. Huh? I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. You did drop it? Did you drop the bust onto the ringmaster? What are you talking about? Even if I had wanted to do such a thing, I couldn't. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of this bust? Let's see. Yeah, we do remember where the location of the bust is, actually. It was in the cafeteria. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may have very well been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? He makes a good point, but it's a shiny bust, so you're not getting away particularly with this one, mate, because I know exactly how you did it. You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright, explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice.
Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bus from the cafeteria.
Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get to my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. You know what? I'm going to end the video here because it's very late and I'm getting tired, sorry about that. And I'm afraid if I keep going further, I won't be able to suspend my save. So, yeah, I'm going to end the video right here and we're going to get to the crux of this matter. And continue on the video in another section. So I will edit the video and pull it together. Until then, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.